Let's dive into a crucial question. Can we know the ultimate truth about reality? But before we begin, it's important to understand what we mean by reality. It's interesting that the way we use this term in everyday language varies according to different contexts. So let's start by illustrating this with a few examples. One of the ways we contrast real is with imaginary or illusory. Picture a thirsty traveler in the Sahara Desert who, driven by his desperate need for water, perceives a mirage as a real oasis. Similarly, a patient waking up from an operation under powerful anesthesia might experience hallucinations. They might see strange creatures moving about or colorful objects floating around. Here, the perceived realities, the oasis and the creatures from the hallucination, don't really exist. In this context, the meaning of the word reality revolved around the existence of something in the physical, external world. But there's an important distinction to be made in these scenarios. The traveler, driven by his thirst, misread the mirage as an oasis. However, this misreading is driven by the particular way light interacts with hot air, which is an external influence. On the other hand, the cause of the patient's misperceptions is purely internal, drugs disrupting her brain's perception mechanisms. Two pathways leading to a distorted sense of reality, yet they arise from different sources. These examples bring us some crucial lessons. First, they show us the importance of questioning our perceptions and the reality we take for granted. Second, they highlight how we often use the external physical world as a standard to judge our sense perceptions. Lastly, they illustrate that to free ourselves from subjective misperceptions, we need to confront and perceive the external, objective reality. In other instances, the concept of real in everyday language refers to opposites, such as counterfeit or fraudulent. We can illustrate this through examples as well. Consider a dishonest jeweler who sells a necklace to a rich, unsuspecting woman, claiming it to be made of valuable gems. The woman might pay a hefty price, only to discover later that the gems were fake, made of a glass-like material. Another scenario might involve an elderly woman selling her real gem necklace to a jeweler, hoping to support herself. But the dishonest jeweler might mislead her into believing the gems were imitation, thus buying the necklace for a far lesser price than it deserved. We can draw important insights for our understanding of reality from these instances. While the illusions of the oasis and strange creatures didn't exist in the external world, the genuine and imitation gems did exist. They were all part of external reality, actual matter. The problem was the false claims or characteristics attributed to them. So this raises the question, how do we avoid being tricked by false claims and misrepresentations? This is especially important when we consider universal matters and the deeper questions of our worldview. Lastly, let's consider the concept of reality while investigating historical events. We often find ourselves asking, did this event really take place as described? Was the cause that's been presented to us the real one? But the challenge is that past occurrences can't be repeated for verification, so we rely on evidence and its interpretation, a task that can sometimes be fraught with errors. Of course, certain historical events like Napoleon's invasion of Russia or Genghis Khan's siege of Beijing are beyond doubt due to the compelling evidence that supports them. But the challenge lies in defining the level of evidence required to establish certainty. This is where our understanding and interpretation of reality are put to the test. All these explorations lead us back to our primary question: can we know the ultimate truth about reality? Now that we have a better understanding of how the concept of reality operates in everyday language and have seen the complexities and nuances in its interpretation, we're ready to begin tackling this question with a more discerning lens. One crucial lesson we've learned so far is that our perceptions of reality are often influenced by both external and internal factors. Whether it's the parched traveler in the desert driven by thirst, or the post-surgery patient affected by powerful drugs, a distorted perception of reality is tied to the individual's specific circumstances. That means that a crucial step towards understanding the ultimate truth about reality might involve examining and understanding our own biases and influences. In some instances, the authenticity and inherent value of things form the cornerstone of our perception of reality. This has implications, not only in a material sense, but also in how we perceive concepts, ideas, and even relationships. Distinguishing the real from the fraudulent or the counterfeit in these contexts might require a deeper level of understanding and wisdom. Understanding reality also makes it necessary to develop critical thinking and discernment. Finally, The exploration of historical realities underscores the importance of reliable evidence and its correct interpretation. It poses questions about the certainty and validity of our knowledge about the past and challenges us to evaluate the standards we set for accepting something as a fact. As we dive into the profound nature of reality, striving to comprehend the truth of our world, it's essential to remember several points. First, our perception is vulnerable to inaccuracies. The biases, preconceptions, and beliefs we harbor can often obstruct our view of reality as it truly is. Therefore, we should be prepared to scrutinize our beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. Second, we can't always depend on others for accurate portrayals of reality, so we must exercise discernment and vigilance. Some sources are more trustworthy, competent, and sincere than others. It's crucial to corroborate what others share with our own findings and so develop an understanding of reality that does not rely solely on what others tell us. And last, in our efforts to interpret the available evidence, we need to ensure we've gathered as much relevant information as possible. We need to strive earnestly to uncover the truth that the evidence is offering. That's a lot to ask, but then what would we expect when the challenge is nothing less than seeking to know the ultimate truth about reality?